Welcome back, guys. So, New School Sensei. I'm Lance Douglas. I'll be the host. Back with Adam Meyers.
Hey, guys.
The king, the story king. Tell a hell of a story.
The nicknames get better and better every episode. I love it.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about staff training.
Yep.
How are we training the staff? Obviously, myself, so I do the staff training at Twins. Adam does it at Story. So, we're in a good position.
Yep.
So, I've probably trained up maybe over the last 10 years, probably, I would say 20 staff to be martial art coaches. How many would you say, Adam?
I'd probably say we're approaching 15 to 20, probably in that range, probably a little bit less. Yeah, we're almost 7 years old, so a similar amount.
So I'd say we're probably not the absolute experts. Having said that, though, you don't want to have experience training 1,000 staff because it means that your coaches aren't staying, they're not loving their job. So maybe it's a good thing over 10 years we've only trained up, you've done 15, I've probably done about 20.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, actually. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, if we've had 10 years of staff and there's been 150 people through the place, it's because they've all worked here for a month and quit.
And it's one dojo too. That's a lot of coaches.
That's a lot of coaches, bro. That's a lot of coaches. Who's your longest running coach?
Whoa.
Dom?
Probably Dom, yeah.
Yeah, how long's he in the game?
It's been over 7.
7 years, yeah.
It's been since the start, so probably 10 years.
I would say for me, it's probably Chris, who's the head instructor of our Epping location. He's been there since like the 6th month. So 6.5 years. I would also say Libby, because Libby is the head instructor of our Calcutta location, but she's actually the example I'm going to use in the episode because she started as leadership team 6 years ago.
Boom.
So she's gone through the whole process to now owning her own club.
I could say maybe you, Adam.
Yeah.
For all the listeners and viewers on our video, Adam was trained up by yours truly. So maybe I could take some of the credit.
You take some of the credit as well. Yeah. It's like,
it is true though. If your
That's
coach
true.
does well, like ultimately, you want your coaches to enjoy their job and enjoy it so much they want to coach other coaches.
I enjoyed working at Twins so much. I almost considered doing karate instead of taekwondo at my club. Yeah.
Really?
It was good. Yeah, I would have been happy to run karate, bro.
You running a full karate schedule?
Full
I like
traditional.
I don't know about that.
Makuara, everything, bro. I would have gone the whole way.
For the viewers, so makuara is like a piece of wood and you're just hitting it over and over, punches, to condition your knuckles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it, but...
Yeah, I would recommend it, yeah.
But let's get into the meat and potatoes, the biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
Staff training.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Adam? So you run through how you're doing it, then I'll run through how I'm doing it.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I'm sure it's going to be pretty similar, to be honest.
I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah, because a lot of the stuff, and credit to Ken and Lance and the job they do at Twins, because a lot of the stuff that I do at my club, I did work at Twins for about 2 years, I think, solid. Almost every day I was there for 2 years.
It's a great 2 years, not
Great
going to lie.
2 years, not going to lie.
We grew a lot.
Probably a couple open days, 50, 60 kids in there.
That was when we actually exploded.
Yeah.
Oh, it might have been a coincidence. Adam being there, our club
And
exploding.
for some reason, the kicks just took another level. I don't know what
Oh,
happened. Must have been a
kicks.
coincidence.
Probably coincidence.
Probably coincidence. Probably unrelated. So credit to you guys because you guys did such a good job at developing me as a coach as well. I had just started coaching. I think I was like maybe 3 or 4 years into coaching, like full-on coaching, martial arts, when I started working with you guys. Coming from another martial art background, I really had to strip everything back and learn the karate way. And I think Twins was a little bit more traditional back then as well. It's 2015 and 16 that I was there, so almost 10 years ago now.
I would say probably 75% traditional back then.
At that time, yeah. So I had to learn a lot of extra stuff. And the way you guys structured everything really helped me structure the way that I do my staff training now. So it probably is pretty similar. So what we have is a HR pathway. And I did this in my MBA, where you create a pathway for someone so they never want to leave your club. I want to make it so the instructors enjoy it so much and they have a proper career opportunity to earn enough money and good living, especially in this housing crisis at the moment, where they don't have to leave the martial arts club. It's one of the industry's biggest problems is that your 18, 19, 20-year-old instructors finish uni or they finish high school and they're gone to do whatever else they want to do in their life, and that's obviously they're more than welcome to do so. However, it's obviously better for us if we have those homegrown coaches coming through. So our staff training process starts at leadership team. Leadership team is for 10 to 14-year-old students who are above green belts. So you're talking at least 9 months to a year of training. Obviously, it's attitude dependent. We don't really go on skill that much. If there's an outstanding yellow belt with a great attitude, a great energy, we'll bring him in a little bit earlier, and that's absolutely fine. We've done that plenty of times. As a leadership team, they will do a 1-year course. On average, it's a year. Most of them have taken 2 years to finish it, though. There's 12 goals they have to go through. it starts at the basics. It starts at this month, every class, you have to give out 5 high fives. The next month is you have to give out 5 high fives and say everyone's name in the class 5 times.
5 times, not the 3x3, the 5x5 rule.
5x5.
Wow, that's next level, man.
And it's actually really easy once you start counting. And I use this example when I do the staff training, just on those first 2 things. Because once you're building connection with the students, then we can worry about teaching the skills. But it's actually the most important thing. Because if they don't care about you, they don't care about the club. That's where the basis of loyalty is that the coach cares about the students, I think. So that's the first thing we teach them. After that, it's, can you run a warm-up? And that goes for a month. That normally takes them about 2 months to get through that criteria. And each of these things, I won't go through the whole thing. It's proprietary, obviously. Yeah. all 12 of them, but that's the first. That
was my aim, trying to get it out of you.
Yeah, trying all 12. I'll list the whole process, you know what I mean? I'll upload the whole PDF, yeah. So those are the first 3. And then it goes into teaching the skills. So, can you do the boxing skills? Can you do the kicking skills? And there's as we go on. The final section of that is, can they teach a pre-martial arts program class by themselves? Obviously, they'll have an assistant because they're like 12 years old. So they might have, let's use me as an example. I'll be in the background, and the leadership team student, who would probably be 13 or 14 at this point, will teach the whole class by themselves under my supervision. So I'll still be on the mats, but they'll be running the program. Once they finish that, they have an opportunity, if space exists, to be an assistant instructor. We try and get as many of the leadership team kids as possible who finish the program to end up being AIs, so assistant instructors. AI, yeah. Automated.
The buzz terms.
The buzz terms, AIs. So the assistant instructors are our...
Story martial arts AI. We got some new AI.
Yeah. We're actually moving to a model where we just get a big iPad and the kids just watch ChatGPT and tell them what to do. Yeah, it's just a text model, you know what I mean?
A text model.
Yeah, it's actually a hologram of me doing all the classes. Yeah.
Get into the AI world, I like it. Yeah. You should get create a share or something. There's a new startup.
Yeah.
Epping. They're doing AI out there.
That'll be our podcast in 10 years' time, bro. It's like, we don't even teach the class anymore. The learning model teaches the classes. They teach it better than us anyway.
Yeah.
So the assistant instructors will normally spend 2 years in that stage. And that'll be, when they're 15, 16, 17, kind of finishing school. That's kind of our prime age for the AI instructor, the AIs. I can't say it now. Say it now. But the assistants, I'll call them, the assistant instructors.
Keep saying AI. I love it.
I love it. Yeah. More views.
The more you say it, the better.
The more views we get. Yeah. So with the AIs, they will spend a couple years doing that program. And in that program, we're teaching them how to run juniors and how to run the adults program. So leadership team is almost purely focused on pre-martial arts, because that's actually the hardest class to teach. So the next program is now they're teaching juniors and the beginning of a teens and adults program, but they're really just assisting the main instructor on the mat. So in Thornbury, for example, that would be me. So the assistant will be helping me teach the class, and I'll be interspersing the way they give feedback. So this is less course-based and more person-centered learning. So we're going to get, let's say one of my assistants will, I'll be taking the boxing, and when it's time to give feedback to the students while they're hitting the bags, Will will say something, and then I'll get Will to come over, and I'll tell him something else he could have said. And I'll kind of just guide him through. This is more mentor.
Yeah. It's like an apprenticeship.
Like an apprenticeship,
like being a bricklayer, yeah?
Like being a bricklayer, yeah. You start putting bricks, and they start swaying, someone's going to have to step in and move them back to the line.
Yep.
Yeah. So just the way they explain things, our explain, show, go system, and the way that we teach the lessons, this is more like until they're 16, 17, 18. And that'll take a fair while. Once they're 18 or 19, we'll get them in a instructor role. So the instructor role is someone has to be a black belt at this point. You can imagine 6-7 years of training now. You're probably a second or third degree in Taekwondo. It goes so quickly. Now you're teaching juniors. You can probably teach adults by yourself, although you're pretty young, but you can definitely be an impact in the adults class, especially for beginners. And you're teaching the whole juniors, all the dragons, and you've probably got an AI or a leadership team kid with you. So now you're an instructor, that level. You've got some leadership team kids with you, and you're helping them fill out their course books. And it just flows through that. It's like the river. Everyone just kind of goes back and drags the next boat along. Because in the industry, when they're 18, 19, 20, that's the hardest time to keep them. From that position, this hasn't happened that many times now because we're only 7 years old. We've got students who get to this level. They're probably third dan black belts, second or third dan black belts by this point. They've been working for 6-7 years with leadership team and being an AI and instructor. we give them the opportunity to either open a branch or become a manager at a club if those positions are available. And
So
that's kind of like
proper
the career pathway. Yeah. And that's purely laid out from the start, and everyone has access to that at the club. They all know what the end point is.
Make it more professional.
That's right.
Be like if you're an accountant, you know, you do your 7 years of high school,
Yeah.
4 years, and you do your clerkship, then you're a fully fledged accountant. Or if you're a DJ, you know, you do the scenes, you do maybe 4 or 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
Hit it up.
I could not have thought of two more different or contrasting career choices. I definitely don't relate my staff training model to a DJ's career model, because I feel like we model it. That is a wild example to use DJ as a career
I
example.
think it's a legit example, DJ.
Yeah.
Because you're going on the.
I don't think it's a defined pathway, DJs.
Well, you have to start up at the club,
Yeah.
and then if you're
Yeah.
getting the response you want,
Yeah.
then you know you're doing something right.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
if you're not, then you got to change something
Then
up.
you're not.
Same as
Yeah.
running a kids class, pre-martial arts, because the dance floor won't lie. Pre-martial arts class will not lie as well.
The dance floor doesn't lie. You're right. That's actually the name of this episode. The dance floor don't lie. This is how we teach kids martial arts. Oh, God.
You like that one?
That's a good one. We more relate it to like being a teacher in a school.
Yep.
So you kind of like leadership team is like the university until you get your black belt, and then being an AI is kind of like your graduate years, your 2 years. And then once you're a teacher, you run the classroom by yourself. There's less involvement from like principals and other senior teachers. And then when you become like a learning specialist or a PLT leader, like a learning group leader, then you're kind of giving mentorship to the graduate. So it kind of just cycles through like a primary school or a high school would.
I would say your system's probably better than the teaching system, because I've just come through 2 years of teaching school.
Yeah.
So it was just all theory.
Yep.
And then you just smacked into placement.
Yeah.
And you kind of rolled the dice on your supervisor.
Yep.
And then I know for me, some supervisors won't let you do nothing. Mm-hmm. Like imagine like 6 weeks at a school, you're not allowed to do nothing.
Yeah.
Not allowed to run any lessons, not
Yeah.
allowed to organise group activities.
Yeah.
Whilst for another placement, your supervisor is probably off to lunch. So you got to run
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So I'd say
true.
your system's probably, no offense to the teaching system out there, but yours
Yeah.
definitely more
No,
systematic.
No.
And...
I mean offense to the teaching system.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't mean no offense. I mean offense. I mean, from my background in being a teacher as well, it's those students come through, they finish uni, and then they're placed in front of, especially me, I was in the special ed system. They've never even seen a kid with autism before. And now they're teaching 12 of them. It might be their first time in front of 12 kids in general. And now they've got all these kids with all these different learning needs and stuff. You're being set up to fail. Imagine if we just taught them what martial arts was based on watching movies and reading books and stuff, and they were said, all right, there's 20 white belts here, and it was a wet weather timetable today, and they've not been running around all day. Best of luck to you. Also, if you're not good at this in 2 years, this whole degree was a waste of time. It's a crazy system, the education system. It's crazy that it's not more apprenticeship based, because it's such a physical in-person skill. It's almost like a trade versus like a theoretical process.
Yeah, because obviously the skill is more important than the knowledge.
Yeah, and you can pick up the knowledge as you go. We had teachers at the school that I won't name that they couldn't spell.
Really?
They couldn't spell well, and they were kind of learning stuff. A lot of adults can't spell, right? It's not everyone.
Probably
is like,
me as well, to be honest.
Yeah, 100% there's some words that I can't spell. Every time I try and spell necessary, I've got all the S's and C's wrong. It's crazy. I'm a really smart guy too. I'm well educated. I can't spell the word necessary. I digress. So.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessary either. I don't write a lot. I don't write a lot anymore. Autocorrect, bro. The AI's got me. So in that process, you got people who are actually undertrained. So what we want to do at Story Martial Arts, and I'm sure you guys are very similar, is we want to make sure that outcome is that we have a super high chance of achieving the outcome. And the best way to achieve the outcome is if the teachers are really well trained and they have a lot of experience actually on the floor teaching. We can do as many leadership seminars and that kind of stuff as you like, but at the end of the day, the kid that comes 4 times a week teaching class is going to be better than the kid that comes and helps out once a week. Just like training. If they come 4 times a week for 3 years versus twice a week for 3 years, obviously there's going to be a gap. What's really interesting right now is we're seeing our students at Thornbury, we've got kids who come once a week for the last 12 months, and the first term you can't see the difference between a once a week and a twice a week kid. But a year later, that's a 50 class difference now. Now there's a difference. And same with the coaches. Like I mentioned earlier, Chris is the head instructor at Epping. Chris has been working 4 or 5 days a week for us for 7 years, besides COVID. So, of course, he's like super experienced and has seen so many different problems and so many different kinds of learners and so many different types of children and physical abilities. You just know the cues to use because you've used them already so many times. If I gave you a list of all the cues for roundhouse kick, there's no way you're going to be able to apply the right one at the right time. If I just gave you the list, right? How do you guys do your model?
Ours actually a little bit different. Ours is more so for our leadership team, we're not setting them up to kind of work for us. We're just setting them up to do awesome at school. So which would be the same for you. You're getting all the public speaking skills, group management, problem solving, vocal projection. So all the skills in leadership will definitely transfer to, their school, if they're working at Macca's. We've got a lot of students who are becoming class captains, school captains. One of our main guys, Jamie, you know Jamie very well. You know, he's his doctor. Another lady.
Still feel like Jamie's 16, like in my mind.
Oy, oy.
He's going to be like 27 now, isn't he? He's a doctor.
Gun. He's a gun. But I guess all these skills they're learning, like to learn to be a martial art coach, it will translate to other careers too. But yeah, ours is a bit more general. So if we just go straight to staff training, so for us, we always start with, me, I'm very systematic. The EOS system by Gino Wickman. So do they get it? Do they want it? Do they have capacity? So before I train someone up to be a staff member, do they actually get the job? You're a martial art coach, Do they want it? Would they rather be working here as a martial art coach or working at Macca's, where you can make, whatever you make? And then do they have capacity? Like, do I see this coach being able to lead a class? Some people, you can definitely, as soon as they walk in the door, you can see it. Other people, it's going to take a lot more work. So whether you're going to have that investment. And then we need to make sure they fit our values. So I'm sure you guys do the same thing. So all of our values. And then when it comes to staff training, I had a good think about it, because the staff we have now, these are the best staff. Apart from yourself, Adam's a 1 in a million. Like, I've never had a staff member getting just a standing ovation at the end of a class. So you're a unicorn.
Thank you very much.
I do want to ask you at the end, what we were doing to train you up, if anything. But the 3 main things I tell my coaches, and just over and over, 3x3 rule. So it'll come down to, saying their name, eye contact, appropriate physical contact, high fives, pat on the back. Being the enforcer. So especially for adult classes, doesn't matter too much, but for kids, just enforcing the rules and expectations. And then the last thing, most important thing, you as a coach have to be having more fun than the students. Because if you're not enjoying your job, then you're not going to stick at it. So go back to that DJ example. Who's having the most fun? You'd hope it's a DJ. If the DJ's got that good vibe.
That's true. If he's pressing play and then texting, no one else is dancing.
He's bopping, he's getting after it.
There's actually a really interesting anecdote about enjoying your job, and it'll answer my question. I was about to ask a question, but you've actually answered it with that statement, is that there's a story that I saw on TikTok, I believe, where this guy had gone to a hotel and he'd gotten a coffee from like the free coffee barista guy at the bottom of the hotel, right in the bar. It's a free coffee for everyone who stands there. So he goes and gets this barista-made coffee, and this guy's loving it. He's like, yes, okay, Adam, here's your caramel latte. Let's go, man. High five. You have a great day, okay? And you ask the guy, hey, man, you love making coffee for people. This is like not a job that people normally get really pumped up about, but you seem to really love it. He's like, you know what I love? I love that when I'm doing this, my bosses are always like, hey, man, great job. They give me a lot of praise. And then the guy goes on to say, the barista works at another hotel down the street on weekends, and he hates working there. So if you had gone to that hotel and saw the same barista, he would actually be like, yeah, here's the coffee, man. Just get out,
Get out.
I just need to make the next coffee, man, because those bosses make it very unenjoyable for him. So it's on us as like the leaders of our club. If we're having fun, the coaches are going to have fun, and the kids are going to have fun, and it flows down. Imagine having the same staff member. It's like, if, I loved working with you guys. Imagine if you saw me at my club and I hated it. You'd be like, man, where'd that guy go? He's gone.
Have to come back.
So sometimes it's just, position dependent and, location dependent. I think you can really easily skip ahead all that bad stuff about not enjoying the classes and stuff. As long as you're having fun, it's really important that the employees will then also have fun. I love teaching martial arts, but if I hated it, you probably shouldn't run a martial arts school.
Definitely, yep,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like, why would you be a music teacher if you hate music?
That's true.
I hate teaching martial arts, so I own a martial arts school. It makes no sense. I think some people get bitter eventually, over time, but why would you do it if you don't like it?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. Oh, just before we finish, so I got a question for you, Adam.
Okay.
This is not too stressful, but
Okay.
we've talked about all the awesome ways we're training our staff now.
Yeah.
You know, it's very systematic. You know, we're guiding them through. Did I actually do any of that for you when you're at Twins?
Guiding through a system?
Yeah, like, do you remember anything I actually did to help you as a coach?
I
With
think-
full disclosure, like Adam, he comes in, he's almost like a Cristiano Ronaldo of the coaches coming in. He comes onto your team. Are you really going to
Thank you
tell
very
Cristiano Ronaldo what to do? Just let him run the show, yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, do you remember, did we put any constraints on you? Or because I can't remember. It was that long ago.
Yeah, I don't think you had constraints in terms of like what I was teaching, because what you guys did really well was you had a tremendous amount of respect for what I was already really good at, and you were really open with teaching me the stuff that I didn't know, like the more traditional karate stuff that we said earlier. I think it would have been strange to come in and you were trying to like correct, or not that I don't want correction or anything, but trying to like impose your way of doing like certain skills that I knew that we all knew, being honest, that I was better at, right?
I'm still are, to be honest. I'm not going to lie.
It would be like me coming to you and talking to you about wrestling. You've done way more wrestling than me. It just makes sense.
I think you're probably now a better wrestler than me. Yeah, I wrestled you last roll. You're all over me. All over me.
A bit of weight advantage, bro. Yeah.
No excuses.
Yeah, no excuses. Yeah. That's jiu-jitsu. So, back to the topic.
I'm a high rank too. No excuse.
Yeah, no excuse. Yeah. I think one of the things that was really good about me working at Twins, and what really taught me a lot about coaching classes that were really enjoyable, was that I mainly was trying to make you and Ken laugh.
Yeah, I do. I remember that now. And Kenny trying to make you laugh.
Yeah, so I think because we're all so close, we've been friends for so long now, over 10 years, I think because we just loved each other so much, all we wanted to do was outdo the other. So it was kind of a competition between the three of us, and largely Ken was upstairs, so it was largely you and I together. It was me and you, and we had Jamie, who's now a doctor, as our leadership team kid, our AI assistant, and we were just trying to make each other laugh as much as possible, and the kids just loved it.
Oh, they loved it.
Yeah, because I was actually, if I started not getting applause, I was starting to get disappointed.
Yep.
So I was trying to make it as fun as possible, because I was having fun working with you guys. It was you're with your best friends, like working. It's so fun. Yeah.
And then every night going to, where were we going?
Sapa
Hills.
Yeah.
What was the other one? It was too late. We went to dessert.
Yeah, to dessert place, you can get a classic steak, chips, and a vanilla ice cream on the way out. You can get vanilla ice cream and coconut ice cream in this dessert place that also sold steak. And it was really good.
Finishing class, 9 o'clock, so
yeah.
Your normal restaurant's closed, but AM dessert had you covered.
AM dessert. It was funny, it was AM dessert, but open late into the PM. Yeah. Back to the original question. I don't think it was anything in particular. I think that because we enjoyed working together so much, because we were already so close, that it made it very easy for the classes to be very fun, because we were having fun as well. Kind of like your original point.
That's it. That's a good way to finish it. So guys, if you're watching, you're listening, hopefully you enjoyed that. Check out Instagram. We're going to be putting some videos on there, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Woos.